Morning, David.
Morning, Bill. Sorry, your knee is not more than manageable.
Yeah, well, I had my second of 3 gel injections on Monday, and if I go by the side effects of the first 2 for the first couple of days, things move around and they shift, and I can't be quite sure ahead of time what it's going to be like.
Oh,
So I did a Zoom on something else yesterday morning, and I had to stop it. When I start paying more attention to the pain than what's going on Zoom, it's just not worth it.
yeah. Oh, well, I'm sorry you're having all this trouble.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But I guess it's part of where we are, Bill.
Yes, it is. It is. Well, good to have things like Tai Chi and Qigong and acupressure, et cetera, to help out. So.
Oh, yeah. There's Adam.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
How are you guys?
Good.
Okay.
How are you?
Good, good.
Do you ride your bike to work?
Not this time of the year. No, I wish.
Yeah.
Oh, what's new?
I don't think there's anything new, Adam,
Perfect.
except Joanne is here.
Hey, how you
Hey.
doing, everybody?
Morning.
Hi, Joanne.
Morning.
Man,
Yes.
How are things at the hospital, Adam?
Oh, very much the same.
Yeah.
COVID numbers are way down, which is great.
Yeah.
So, that's encouraging, but all of the other issues are still there. Staff not happy, everyone's going every which way, and then we have to let a few people go anyways, and whatever. But I think that's going to just be the name of the game from here on out for a while. So it's all good.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess it's a lesson in flowing with change.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Try not to take any of it personally. Say, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So.
Well, come on, Bill. Not Bill Nagel.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying,
okay.
where's Bill Bynum?
oh, Bill Bynum, yeah. He's
Yeah.
usually here by now.
Yeah. Things quiet at your front, Joanne?
No.
Oh.
Too much. I mean, part of the problem is that, I'm pretty deeply involved in 3 different groups, and they all have important meetings within a week. So that's difficult just for, a staff report for the work one, and then, I have to put agendas together for the others, and yada, yada, yada. Everybody's got their pet project they want me to promote,
Yeah.
whatever. I think that it's the same lesson as Adam, though. You have to be flexible or you'll break,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
like, yeah, we're all human beings, and people are stressed out having meetings on Zoom, and the cold, and everything, isolation, etc. I think has gotten everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
in another month or 2, we'll be able to be out more. Maybe actually another day or 2, from what I hear. It'll be warmer again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hoping that will change people's outlook because there's just a lot of going on. You find that? Yeah, it's just, you know?
Yeah. Everyone seems really reactive, really
Yes.
emotionally reactive,
Wow, yeah.
instead of kind of taking a beat and responding or thinking about what's the best approach, just, everyone's kind of shooting from the hip and
Exactly.
letting their frustration show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I made a statement yesterday, I'm dealing with affordable housing, and I said to somebody, well, when I talked to the realtor who used to be on our board, she was very friendly, there's this second apartment is not really legal. And the person on the other friend had to read to me 3 times or from 3 different sources why it's listed as a second apartment. It's like, you got me after the first one, but I felt like I was bullied after people like, yeah, and then like, here it is here again, and here it is here again. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, that's that kind of, let's all breathe, let's all breathe.
Yeah.
Yes, breathe.
Great, Blaze, I heard you the first time.
Are you with us, Mr. Bynum?
I am.
Oh, okay, because we're late.
Yeah, I'm a little late.
Okay. Good. Questions, problems, reports? How's your practice going?
Number 3's been much better this week. I don't know why, but
Oh, good,
way better flow. Yeah.
good. We're getting close to working on 3 again.
Cool.
I was practicing particularly what we went over last week. And also I thought that exercise around our legs was very helpful to try to, get that better feeling of the chi moving up and down our legs. But then I felt when I went back to trying to put it all together, the breathing felt counterintuitive to really moving the chi in my legs. I kind of got disjointed again, right? When I take it apart, I can do it well. When I put it back together, I'm like, so that for me was really a challenge.
Well, putting all the parts together is a challenge, no
Yes,
question.
I understand that, but very particularly, it was clearly kind of the moving of the chi, the breathing, and the whole body movements kind of.
Yeah,
That was I knew that was kind of what was.
yeah, and it will get better over time. But absolutely, there's no question that as we work through this and keep adding another piece, as we do for quite a while, you keep running into the same issue. So it's just part of the process.
Okay.
You just have to keep trying to stay current with your practice and keep working on each part as it comes along and integrating it. And gradually, with practice, it all smooths out. As Adam said, gee, 3's even getting better this week. Anything for either Bill?
No, not really. I mean, the knee prevents me from doing anything that even remotely resembles bending or squatting. So I'm limited, but yeah.
So you have to really still have the intent to do that as you're practicing, but not do it physically.
Yeah.
which adds another difficult element actually for
Yeah.
you, but
Yep.
but you need to be aware of what the physical movement is that you would like to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Nothing for you, Mr. Bynum.
Well, yeah, I look forward to us when you do when we get back to 3 for another iteration, because
Okay.
the circularity of that and the height, and particularly 6 and 9, still having a thing where I feel a little over twisted, and I know I shouldn't be over twisted. And I think, the thing about 6 and 9, I'm thinking mid-height between, 12 and 6, or, I mean, 3 and 9.
Yep.
As being a mid-level height between 6 and 12. Which I'm, yeah, so anyways, I'm looking forward to going through that more.
Well, we are going to work again on 3. I'm not sure we'll get there today, but either towards the end today or next time we'll be working on 3 again. Trying to clarify some of those very things. So to start, let's go a little deeper into movement 2. We're going to look at why the body alignments are important and issues regarding the central nervous system. And we'll look at the transition between movements 1 and 2. But the most important thing besides the transition, which is important, is to start having you really get a sense that body alignments are not just about that you have a correct biomechanical alignment. And that becomes important if you want to have your body do certain things physically, whether it's sports or doing a better podcast. But now we're talking about the alignments as the vehicle that's going to allow the chi to flow through your body and allow your nervous system to become smooth and even. So first thing is just to think a little bit about this transition between 1 and 2. And here, as certainly has been true everywhere, it gets more so as we go along. What's happening with the elbows is really important. So we want to make sure that we get that connection between the elbows and the spine. And keep it all the way through the movement, whether it's just going from one repetition of the movement to the next one, or whether it's going into the transition where we want to keep the movement going. So one of the things about the elbows is that they really are the key to bringing the pressure into the internal organs. So what I'd like you to do is just for a moment, do a couple of number 1 and then flow into 2 and think about making that transition between the postures and between each repetition absolutely smooth with no interruption at all. Don't let any kind of break develop, okay? So just try that.
Okay.
Make sure that your chest is sinking and that you're wrapping from your quad to the middle of your body. And your buttocks are wrapping towards the middle of your pelvis. As you go down, feel that curving your buttocks towards your pelvis and your shoulder blades towards your shoulders nest. Slowly bending, slowly straightening. And keep the straightening of the body going all the way to the point where the hands are out to the side. Feel the flow go through your shoulders, your elbow joints, your wrists, and your palms and your fingers. Okay, relax. So I think the thing that I would say is that most of you were doing quite well at keeping the smoothness of the transition between repetitions and 1 and 2 flowing in terms of the movement of the arms, but the body is still having difficulty in straightening and bending in coordination with the arms and legs. So just say once again that you're bending all the way to this point and keep that elbow connection here. Don't let it collapse in. And then you're straightening not to here, but to here. And that's what's happening often in your movement, is you're getting the straightening complete here and then the arms just go out. So you have to let the bending happen and the straightening continue all the way to this point. Okay. Physical coordination, and in this case, internal coordination, can take some practice. Most of us have never really learned how to have it be generated by what's happening inside our bodies. And that's what you're doing in Qigong, because Qi moves deep inside your body, not on the surface. Now, looking at these movements and really focusing on the elbows, what are some of the main things that the elbows are trying to do? So one of these things, I'm sorry, let me go back here. One of the terms that's used in China is that the elbow should spring the spine, a bit the same way that an animal's legs spring their spine when they are running. Remember the whole thing we did about getting the elbows out so that they grab your whole spine? Well, second, it pulls your spine into your organs. So the way your elbows are positioned exactly enables your arms to feel as though they are inhabiting your entire abdominal cavity as well as your entire spine. But there's another thing you have to do. Once you have that connection, you can use it to cause the inside of your internal organs to literally rotate and move. As you get better at this, you can use it to put pressure in the back or the side or the front of those organs or a specific organ. The main point is to make sure that the movement of your elbows is getting everything around each of your internal organs to move smoothly, as opposed to they are collapsed in one space, a space that is not moving, that collapses, that does not have a lot of qi circulating through it. That will not allow the organs to move the best that they can, and that blocks not going to go, it blocks it not going evenly into them. The energy that tells the organs to be happy and healthy are not to be excuse me while I look at what I have said here. I'm not exactly sure what I meant. You have to be clear that you want the energy to be working, to be moving, so that the organs can be happy and healthy, so that you don't diminish the strength that your internal organs have to be able to output into the rest of the system. So we worked on connecting your spine to your arms, but now we need to look a little bit further. So first, let me just again look at that movement, particularly in movement 1 and 2, and thinking about how from this point, you're really moving the energy, particularly into the liver and through. And you want to keep that connection of the elbows to your liver. It's also can be present in movement 2. So that if you keep that connection, you can feel the pressure in your abdominal cavity, and you can feel the pressure in your liver itself. So it only takes a very small adjustment of the elbow to either have that pressure or lose it. So the Chinese have a term, Chung Jian Wei Qi. It's a difficult one to translate because part of it is to point down, but it's more like the way an animal paws the ground. And from the Chinese way of looking at it, it is like a cat or a dog or a tiger pouncing and then pulling themselves forward. So that movement, particularly in 1, has that sense of pulling down into your liver. If you look, for example, in Tai Chi books, at pictures of old masters, you can really sense that the way that they did push downward is with an extreme bend. The reason why is that that beside the elbow down, which gets you to link, it also gives you the ability to directly play with how much spring is being induced in the spine. And not only how much spring is being induced in the spine, but also how much spring you have in your internal organs. For example, if somebody has hepatitis, turning yellow, as Bruce once did, they might also be told, as he was by a doctor, you might be prepared for the fact that by tomorrow you might die. And Bruce's response was to get up and do Tai Chi until he collapsed, at which point he went or was put back into bed, and he slept for 3 days and obviously survived, whereas the 2 people on each side of him did not. So one of the things he focused on as he practiced was using his elbow to massage his liver, and obviously that worked. So in general, most people's livers can use a little bit of a workout every day just to make sure that everything that is supposed to be happening is, and it will make the liver stronger. So so what are things that happen commonly in the world? One in some parts of Europe, people do drink a lot. So how do you feel in the morning after you had a lot to drink the night before? Your body doesn't like it? And how about you clean it out, so you don't feel so miserable the next day? So this practice of using the elbows to get into the liver actually works, and also can work with drugs. Anybody ever had food poisoning? Anybody just eat too much food so that your intestines are really giving you trouble? Well, there is also that wonderful thing that's called a lot of diarrhea. This movement can clear your system out. And this is where, when you do it on practical levels, you can start getting this pressure from your elbows. But the thing is not that you're forcing or pushing the movement. That doesn't work. Or just letting your elbows hang out here. That doesn't do anything either. There has to be a connection, and the elbow has to be down. So you have to find that place. So I want you to do the first two movements of God's and see if you can find your needle in your body's haystack. Kind of an interesting way of putting it, but see if you can find the position of your elbow that really connects you to pressure into your internal organs, in particular the liver.
David, I think this is related, but a slightly different question.
Sure.
But when I was coming in, up and out, I was wondering, is the pinky for the twisting, is the pinky leading the twisting coming in? And then when it's going out, is it the thumb leading or the pinky leading as you're twisting out?
In which posture?
In two.
In two, it's the little finger edge is leading.
The whole time?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's twisting in and then it's twisting out.
Okay.
You're always thinking about it in relation to the center line of the body. So as you're doing this, of course, it's hard to see when I'm sitting here. Up. That's not what I meant to do.
That was dramatic.
Yeah.
And
So one of the things you can think about is that you know that this is bringing the energy in. So it's not going to be clearly the thumb edge leading, because it's going out away from the center line of the body. So it is the little finger edge twisting in and then twisting out. Okay?
okay, good.
And
And
just to be clear, movement one is actually the thumb edge. So it's twisting in and then it's twisting out and then it's twisting in. And then in the transition, the little finger edge takes over twisting in and then twists out.
Good.
So it isn't the same edge in every movement.
Okay.
Okay.
And then with the elbows and two coming up, as
Mhm.
you're coming up, just observing you, I was thinking I was seeing the elbows going out just a little bit ahead of when you separate. Is that true?
So from here, they're going out. And um, I don't think of that as being ahead. Although the connection between the elbows and the spine and the internal organs is more important than what the hands are doing. Although it's all connected, but the whole arm is moving, even though the actual separation happens after you've arrived at what is the appropriate height for you to lift your arms. Does that help, Bill?
I think so. I'm not, yeah, I mean, we're still straightening out until we get all the way out to the stretch.
Yep.
So everything is stretched at that point.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. The body has extended, the arms have extended, the legs have extended. Absolutely.
Okay.
Other questions?
Yeah, David, in terms of the connection between the elbows and massaging to, I don't know whether that's the word, the organs and the liver in particular, is there a point in the movements where that is more intense, that connection? Or is the idea to keep it at a high level throughout the movement?
That's a very good question, Bill. Actually, it is more intense in the downward movements.
Okay.
In other words, the coming in movements than it is in the rising ones, but the connection is continuous.
Okay. And I'm assuming, as with everything, intent has a big role here.
Certainly an important piece, but the feeling of the pressure of the connection between the elbows and the spine and the internal organs eventually should be, and I'm reluctant to say should, but I will, should be concrete.
Okay. Okay.
It may not be now.
Right.
So certainly intent is important.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Other questions? Okay. So play with 1 and 2 again and see, as a matter of fact, do 20 repetitions of 1 and 2, just 1 and 2. You don't have to do the rest of the movements, but focusing on this, because 1 and 2 is where this is probably most effective
Okay.
in terms of the liver.
Yep.
Bill, can you turn sideways while you're doing that?
Which Bill?
You, Bill Nagel.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so Bill Nagel, as you're coming down,
Yes,
think about the elbows going out a little
okay,
rather than back.
okay,
I think you can get a better connection
Okay.
that way. Yeah, they don't have to go back even that far. They don't have to go back so far.
okay.
Better.
That's certainly different.
Good. Nice, Joanne. Bill Bynum, that's looking better. The body movement was better. That looked good. That's
Thank you.
coming. Adam,
Yeah.
you want to try to not let the need to keep that connection between the elbow and the spine to cause you to keep your elbows too far out either.
Okay.
That's why, in a way, this becomes something that you have to look for where can you find how to keep that connection constant, because it is so easy. You can find that connection. For instance, at a point like this, it's pretty easy to say, oh yeah, there, I've got the elbow, they're down, it's connected to the spine. And then you're trying so hard to keep that connection to the spine that all of a sudden the elbows are pointing out instead of down or downward. So you have to let the elbows rotate, but also keep that connection to the spine. I mean, this is not just for Adam, it's for everybody. And keep it all the way through. So it's finding how do you connect all of these things we've talked about? Having the elbows as much downward as possible, the connection between the elbow and the spine, enough, not too much, not too little. It's tricky, but it did feel like you were all working in the right direction. Anybody have a question about that? Did anybody feel that you were finding that connection and being able to maintain it some?
More in one than two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easier in one than two.
Yeah.
For me, I felt I was doing for some reason, a better job of coordinating the breathing and having the breathing going into my back some, but I can't say that I actually got that connection. But I feel like I may be getting closer.
Good. Yeah, it's you just have to keep playing with it until you find where it is. Once you find it,
Right.
it's really clear.
It's very clear. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
But it can be frustrating a little bit at first
Sure,
till you do.
Right.
Good. So another thought. So God's has external and internal aspects. So what are the external aspects of God's? The physical movements, obviously. There are micro alignments, and there is the way that you could say in terms of your arms and legs, that there is movement of your skin. Now, you might not be able to recognize as yet what's happening below your skin, but you can tell by your skin moving that you are bending or straightening your arm or arm, but probably you can't tell what's happening inside the joint or what's happening with those blood vessels and everything else. So that's external. But what are the internal aspects of God's? First of all, you chi flows, and then you have the way that the blood and the fluids you move inside your body, and you have the way your internal organs and your glands should be affected by the movements, and the way your musculoskeletal system is moving, and the way your brain and nervous system are integrating with the movements. So how can you use God to enhance your physicality? How can you use God to develop your chi? And this will be mostly an aspect of the 16 Neigong as they keep coming in. So how can God enhance your physicality? Well, first of all, at the lowest level, it is going to give you some exercise. And at the next level, it's going to distinctly improve your blood circulation. And at the next level, it's going to make the flow through your nervous system better. So you have less stress and tension. And at the next level, it's going to open up compacted spaces inside your body, inside your internal organs, or a compacted joint. God's will make your body better because the nature of how the movements are done will help your spine. And how can you use God's to develop your chi? Well, just thinking about it is not going to develop your chi. Your thought processes somehow have to have a way of connecting to your body, but it's also going to increase the chi of your emotions, because your emotions are to a certain degree, depending upon your internal organs and your glands, for having some sort of a smooth, clear way of doing what they are going to be doing. It's also going to help by opening all the compacted spaces inside your body. Chi does not flow smoothly through compacted spaces, and you want to get your chi to move through your body smoothly. So God's is based upon the 16 Neigong. And the way it is supposed to be done is that first you were supposed to have learned through other Qigong how to do all the components before you have arrived at God's. And then God's starts teaching you everything that wasn't in the basic Qigong and that which went beyond, as well as other Qi methods that were actually coming from the 16 Neigong, but may appear not to be. So just a couple of thoughts. So I don't think we really have time to go on into specifics in movement 3. So I think what I'd like to do is just to have you do a flow of all the postures, flow all the way through, but just do 10 repetitions. So I can kind of see how you're doing and if there's anything that we need to address at the moment.
Okay,
Okay,
Mhm.
I really wish I had you all here. I want to put my hands on you and move you around. So you're all on the right track,
More or less.
more or less. There, I think just one of the things I would say is because we are in a period when we're thinking a lot about elbows, to really do some practice focusing on the movement of the elbows and remembering that when, as much as you possibly can, you want the elbows to face downwards. That means towards the earth, not out here. And so you really have to think about that and feel it and find those positions in each of these postures. I think that's all I'm going to say at the moment. I think that's really the most important single piece to focus on at the moment.
Okay.
Find that connection between the elbow and the spine and keep the elbow in its appropriate connection to the earth. At least having a sense of the elbow pressing to the earth, even if it's not facing directly downwards. Good. Questions, thoughts?
I have no idea why I completely interchanged 4 and 6 with the hands.
Yeah, I wondered about that, but I wasn't gonna give you too much difficulty about that at the moment. Easy to get lost sometimes when we're doing that.
Yeah.
It was a mind gap.
Yeah. A mind blank. Good. Any other thoughts here? All right, thank you.
Thanks, David.
Practice, practice, practice.
Thank you, David.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
week, everybody.
So I will say a little bit more to the two of you. Joanne, you are appropriately careful about not touching your body with your elbows, which is very good. And a lot of your movements are quite good. I'm was really noticing. The only problem is that when for instance, when you're keeping the elbows out so you don't touch the body, don't let the hands come into the center.
Too much, okay.
Keep the hands on the sidelines. And that, of course, comes up in a number of places. So,
Yeah.
Because you want to make the distinction between connecting to the side channels and to the central channel.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Adam, I've completely forgotten what I was going to say to you.
Okay.
Oh, well, one thing is not to let your concern about connection between the elbow and the spine to cause you to tense up. I had a sense in a number of places that your arms and shoulders had gotten very tense.
Yeah. Yeah. That flow felt a little stiffer than usual.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so I'll have to work on that. I think trying to pull down, like you say, you know, like the animals pawing at the earth, and trying to pull the energy down that way, kind of
Yeah.
maybe really just tense up as I was coming down, instead of letting the energy flow.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to do. I mean, I've been there and done that, so I understand. Just wanted you to be aware. So, any other questions or concerns you guys have in there?
No, I think I just noticed in this that maybe because of our conversation earlier that I was doing well going down and keeping that and not stopping and keeping that connection, but not as well in 4, 5, and 6. In terms of, I felt like of connecting there. I was kind of like, I needed to stop earlier. You know, I was just kind of running out of it. I wasn't, my arms and my body were not coordinated. 4, 5, and 6, just leave it that way. And so that's an observation I'll say out loud. So I'll remember to really work more on that.
Yeah.
This week, but I did feel, and it, particularly kind of that moving down, kind of, you know, connecting with the liver, those kind, I could really feel that particularly in the early,
Good.
So just beginning, but just kind of, okay, yep.
Yep.
Kind of putting all of that together, yeah.
Good. Adam, I know what the other thing I wanted to mention was,
Sure.
Again, to be really clear about the difference between 2 and 5.
Okay.
Because you were 2, when we go into 2, the cross completes at the bottom in front of the dantian, and immediately we're coming up.
Okay.
Your tendency was to start like you were going to 5 and then to go. And
Okay,
so you're making the transition too late,
okay,
whereas you're quite right that 5, we make that connection and continue to bend and then
Mhm.
go out. But yeah, it's that transition at the bottom you have to be careful of.
okay. I'll work on that.
Yeah, good. So anybody doing any Tai Chi these days?
I didn't this week.
A little bit,
bit.
a
Any
little bit.
questions or thoughts?
Just a question with the footwork for double cannon punch at the end of the form. Is there a follow step with the back leg? Every time I flow through it, I'm doing something different. I either don't take a follow step or I take a follow step. And I think just on an intellectual level, I don't know the answer. Should you take a follow step?
No,
Okay. So no.
no.
Okay.
No, that's a place. That's a place where, as you get into it, it's a solid bow stance
Okay.
of strike, and then
Then
it
reset.
I peep out of the corner.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, those follow steps, it's like, do I do a follow and focus here? I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, so I can understand the confusion there, but no, not, that one doesn't, no.
Okay.
I don't know that I have anything particular to say about the form.
Yeah.
I think that just the work we've done in the form of not stopping will help me in God's, right? Like, I
Well,
think
that's true.
that's where that's, yeah. I mean, I think we've talked about them helping each other, but yeah, I think that's an awareness.
Yeah, and
from that
it is,
practice, yeah.
and it is as important in God's as it is in the form.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like, that's true in all the Qigong what we do.
Yeah.
We're
Keep it
not
going.
doing any Qigong that have stopping and
Stops and
starting.
starts.
Mm,
Like, we all
Right.
know that.
Well, yes,
But then you're like, uh-oh.
yeah.
What's happened? My body is straight up, but my arms are still moving.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I had not previously run into that issue so strongly. This class, for some reason, is having
Oh, we're all-
difficulty with that issue.
That's a collective problem. Great.
It is kind
Interesting.
of. It's getting better though.
Yeah, well, and I think having the awareness just makes you, that's one more thing you need to really get there, so you're not having to think about it all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right, very good.
All right, guys.
have a good week.
Good. Yeah,
You
you too.
Keep flowing with change.
too.
That's
Yeah.
That's right. As the maple syrup flows, as everything flows.
Right, right.
It's flowing, flow and change. All right, everybody, have a good week.
Take
Thank
All
care.
you.
right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, David.
Bye.